Hi everyone, my name is Paneal Holland. Hi everyone, my name is Paneal Holland. In this presentation, I will briefly talk about myself to help you get to know me, as well as my tech journey, some advice that I have and that I've gotten from others, as well as a few things about Nuevo Foundation and how you can stay in touch. This slide kind of shows what I like to do and to kind of help you get to know me just a little bit more. Originally, I was born and raised in Ethiopia, and I came to the United States when I was 9 years old with my little brother, who was 7 at the time. We both moved to a town called Wenatchee, which is only a few hours away from Seattle. The reasons we came to the US and moved to Wenatchee is because we were both adopted. And I also have a big family, and I have 2 older sisters that are from India as well. And my adopted mom also has 2 of her own biological kids, and there's me and my little brother. So our family is a little bit diverse, which I love. So in this picture, there's a few that you'll see. I am a huge traveler. I love to travel and explore new places. The goal I have for myself long-term wise is to at least go to all the 7 continents if I can. But just see different places as much as I can if I'm able to. I recently started doing solo traveling too. So last year I spent some time in Jamaica by myself, and that was a really fun experience. And I'm actually planning a trip to go to Colombia, so that would be my next solo trip, and I'm really excited for that. I try to be somewhere I've never been to as much as I can. Understand the culture, the people, the food, and just get to know everything that I can. And I also love to travel in-state as well. I recently went to the Oregon coast with one of my closest friends, so we got the chance to just go through the ocean and explore the outdoors. And I love being by water, so any chance that I get, I try to do that. And I love outdoors, so hiking is one of my favorite activities to do. So if you've never been to the Oregon coast, I totally recommend it. I also love to spend time with friends and families, and I really love cooking, and I'm getting better at it, but I love just experimenting and trying new things. And I love coffee. I spend a lot of my time in different coffee shops. Even when I'm traveling, I like to be at places that I've never been to, like I said before, so kind of get a sense of what the town's all about, where the coffee comes from, and it's good, so I like it. Let's see. Next is my tech journey. For the longest time, up until my junior year of high school, I thought I was going to study fashion. I love fashion. I was a big on shoes and clothes. And my senior year of high school, I thought I was going to go to New York to study fashion, and soon realized it was my passion, but I didn't know if that's something I wanted to do long term, especially because I didn't really like design at the time. I really just enjoy more putting stuff together. So I thought maybe I wanted to be stylist, but kind of got into more in depth of what the fashion world is like. But I think the last year of high school, like I said, I wasn't quite sure that's the route that I wanted to pursue, but I also didn't know what else to study either. I knew I liked math, but I wasn't quite sure what kind of job I wanted to pursue in that realm as well. So because I was unsure exactly where I wanted to go, I decided to stay in my hometown and do 2 years of community college there. So I was ready for a 4-year college, but I also didn't know what school I wanted to go to either. So staying those 2 years at my hometown to kind of get ideas of exactly what I can do and discover was really helped me. And my second year of college, when I was at WVC, which is Wenatchee Valley College, one of my professors kind of helped me consider the world of marketing. And she knew I liked to storytell, essentially through visually, but also like to write. So she's like, there's both ways that you can do, and I liked the idea of putting stuff together. I think that was the big thing for me. But so she helped me kind of think about that. And after those 2 years, after I got my double A, I transferred to a 4-year college, still in Washington. I went to Central Washington University, and that's where I got my 4-year degree. But when I transferred, I was a 3rd year, and I also had another professor that kind of helped me get into more in depth other than just marketing. She thought maybe I would like the world of PR, which is public relations. Because she knew I had a passion for media, and I knew I did too, so she kind of helped me spark my interest. So after I did my AA, I transferred to Central, and then I got my degree in public relations, advertising, and applied communication. I knew I loved to talk to people, and communication is something that I wanted to study as well, so it kind of just worked out. I did graduate during the pandemic, so my senior year was the start of kind of COVID, so I had a couple of internships lined up, but unfortunately, because everything was shutting down, I ended up not interning anywhere. But after I finished school, I still wasn't sure which direction I wanted to go into. So I knew I liked working in social media because, again, that was like something that I thought I was going to pursue in some ways too. So after I finished college, I decided to move to Seattle, and that's where my world kind of shifted a little bit. So when it comes to my tech journey, it's a little bit more different, I will say. But one of the things that I learned is that everybody that comes into the tech industry or within any industry ends up taking different paths than expected for the most part. And for me, the way I got into it at first was after finishing school and moving to a new city. I was working as a social media manager for a few businesses for a while, and I did some of this work in college too, but I would essentially work different businesses, create some kind of campaign advertisement for them, and post it on their social media like TikTok and Instagram and Twitter. So my fascination of the technology was always there, but I wasn't quite sure how to actually get into the tech world fully, simply because I didn't know what type of roles that would be aligned with what I'm looking for. And one thing I discovered about the tech industry is that there's a place for everyone. And after I got into my first big role as an assistant project coordinator, I soon realized that there are lots of other roles that are available beyond coding and programming. And again, because my background was more on communications, PR, and advertising, I didn't have any experience when it comes to engineering. But I quickly learned that there are so many other roles that you could do within the tech industry. And after my first role, I switched to my current role, and as an executive business partner, which means that I technically create different communications plan events, play a huge pivotal part in make sure everything within the business goes smoothly. So I work with different teams. So again, I'm using my communication side to learn how to work with each team, like design, product, and engineering team. So I get to practice some of that, but also when I plan events, I get to use some of my marketing side where I can create different content that can kind of tailor to the event that I am helping out or organizing. I also create different newsletters, so I'm able to capture different images and figure out a way to write some posts that can be tailored to the place that I work at. So it gives me a chance to use some of my creative side, but also allows me to use my communication skills. But also because I do like problem solving, this allows me to, because I'm working with different teams, allows me to learn how to work with those teams. But again, the biggest thing that I learned within this industry is that there are so many different roles, and I met so many different people within every job that I've mentioned that, for instance, I've worked with different project managers that's still in the tech industry. There are product managers or product marketing managers. So you're still using your marketing side to work within the industry. There, if you like to design, there's UX and UI designers. So one of the things I've learned is that if you don't feel like you don't want to be necessarily an engineer, there are other roles that you can still pursue that aligns with your passion. So with my current role, the best way I use my marketing side is by, again, planning different events. So in this picture, so I currently work for Ford Motor Company here in Seattle. I technically work on remotely, but my team is split between here, Michigan, and all over the States. But again, I get to use my marketing side when I organize events or when I'm writing different content. I get to, like I said, I'm not an engineer, so I don't code or work on the cars itself, but I'm able to just utilize some of that work. So this is just gives a little bit of an example of my team and who I work for. So next is future advice. One of my favorite quotes is, "Every great dream begins with a dreamer. Always remember you have within you the strength, the patience, and the passion to reach for the stars to change the world." So my very first advice for you is believe in yourself. Take risk and see failures as a learning opportunities, especially when you're young age. You're gonna make mistakes, you're gonna fail, and you're gonna feel some type of way about those things. But take those failures and turn them into an opportunity of learning. So that's something that I had to learn. And when it comes to navigating the world, it's okay not to follow everyone else's steps, but I think it's also important to learn how to create your own path. That is one of my biggest advice, because like I said, the way I joined the tech industry, it doesn't necessarily align with other people's. We all came in a different path. So even if it's a little scary, I think it's important to just trust your gut and do that. The next thing I have is pursue activities that interest you, especially because when you're in the middle school or in high school or even college and even as an adult, the best way to figure out what you want to do is by experimenting and trying to figure out what you love. For me, it was marketing, and I loved putting stuff together, taking pictures, so that's why I went around with advertising. But ultimately, I think it's important to figure out what makes you happy and what truly interests you, and allow yourself to be curious. And if you're not sure about something, test it out and see. And that kind of tell you, oh, maybe I like it or maybe I don't. But just being curious is always a good thing, and being open-minded is also a great thing. I think that allows you to explore a new side of things that you've never done before. And the third advice that I have is your questions can inspire others. So don't hesitate to ask questions. And if something comes to mind but you're afraid to ask, go ahead and ask. Ultimately, at the end, someone else may also have the same question but is afraid to ask. So I think the only way you'll get an answer is by actually asking that question, and to give you a little bit of clarity. So being curious, being open-minded, and asking questions is all great advice that I've gotten from others, and it's something I try to practice even now. So what is Nuevo Foundation? Its mission is to inspire kids to be curious, confident, and courageous by discovering the world of STEM. One of the reasons why I wanted to be part of the foundation is because the team is passionate about showing how incredible STEM careers can be, and the ultimate goal is to ensure that every kid has the opportunity to use technology and explore their ability to create something amazing while making a positive impact to their communities but also the world. The foundation also offers coding workshops and provide hands-on opportunities for students, as well as allow them to use their own imagination when creating something. And I think Nuevo Foundation is great because the team really focuses on showing that there is a place for everyone, kind of like my story. Here are ways to stay in touch. There's an Instagram page, you can email, but you can contact Nuevo Foundations using this. And thank you for listening to my story.